Welcome back to GTD. I'm Micah Farmer, joined as always by Keegan Miller, and it's time to get you guys set for the Chicago street race, where once again it's supposed to be raining because we can never get a dry Chicago street race ever. However, I think this is still going to be a good event. It should be a lot of fun. I know I've really enjoyed the past couple years watching this. There was the SVG inaugural win, which was so cool for the sport, and then Alex Bowman's win with the iconic quote afterward, and SVG getting nuked into the wall by one of the SHR cars. I can't remember, but all of them had a terrible day. But let's just start right with the race picks, because I want to talk about whether or not we see a new winner this weekend. And personally, for me, I think no, because I'm going with Shane Van Gisbergen. I'm not going to make the mistake I did in Mexico and pick against this guy. Tyler Reddick is great here. I thought about that. Chase Elliott's on really good form right now, so thought about him as well. But at the end of the day, especially if it's going to be raining, I just can't go against SVG at a road course, especially a street course like this. So give me the Kiwi to take home the victory in Chicago for the second time.
Well, I'm going with the old veteran road course ringer, the guy who was the road course specialist, I guess you'd say, before SVG came into the frame, and that's AJ Allmendinger.
How dare you diss Marcos Ambrose and Juan Pablo Montoya like that?
I meant like in this current generation. So I'm taking AJ Allmendinger. I do think this will be one of those races where your road course dudes show up. If there's one who's kind of on the cusp, I think it's the guy we'll talk about a little bit later, who's maybe coming to former road courses, the 54. But I just hope it doesn't, because I hope it doesn't rain. I think every time we've talked about this race, both on the show and in person, we've said, please let us get one dry one to see how this race really races and how this track and street kind of takes grip and things like that. I would love to see it. And we just haven't gotten it. And there's talks. I'm fairly certain this is the last year they're doing this. There's talks to go to San Diego, maybe Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area. So
Pittsburgh race over the bridges would be cool.
Yeah, and I'll be there. So it's an extra little like, hey, bro, let's not have it rain. I'd like to stay dry and watch my NASCAR. I'm super excited.
In Atlanta and I was fine, so that's on you.
Yeah, honestly, if it rains like that for a little bit and I see a finish or not even a race like Atlanta, but on a road course, I'm okay. I can take a 30-minute little delay shower for that. But dark horses, we're on dark horses now. So my dark horse is Daniel Suarez. That's right. He won the Xfinity race.
There, definitely, you couldn't read it.
I had the old NASCAR episode up. Won the Mexico City race for the Xfinity Series. I know it's a different car, but it's a dark horse. You know, you're not taking a guy like Michael McDowell or someone who could contend for a win here. They could all technically contend, but I'm going Daniel Suarez. I think if it rains,
I keep saying Cody Ware, just give him a chance.
I'm not gonna. You can say him if you want, but I'm not going to.
I think if it rains, a commercial with him.
Yeah, I still got to check that one out. But if it rains, just throw this pick out the window. I don't think he's got it in the rain. If it does rain, it's going to be SVG, AJ Allmendinger, maybe Chase Elliott. It'll be one of those guys. But Daniel Suarez, he's got a chance if Trackhouse can get him a good car. And I think they've kind of been on road courses. But I think with the likes of SVG in-house now and Zillage kind of running some cars for them and some guys they brought in to run some extra cars, I think their road course equipment is going to be there this weekend, especially since they have a guy like SVG to lean on and kind of go, we need this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And they're going to listen to him because you'd be stupid not to. So hopefully some of that equipment gets to Daniel Suarez and he's got a shot.
Well, I'm going with the guy that really was the only one to have anything for SVG at any point in Mexico, and that's Ty Gibbs. And the 54 has been good on road courses this year. Ty Gibbs is a very solid road course racer. They've had decent speed the last few weeks, and they know they have to win to make the playoffs. Not only are they the only JGR car not locked into the playoffs already, but they're not even close to the cut line on points. So they definitely need a win. And I don't know if you saw this news today, but Chris Gabehart will be basically becoming a kind of co-crew chief for the 54 up until the playoffs now for the rest of the season to try to lock that car in. He was on the box at Atlanta helping Tyler Allen out, rookie crew chief up there. So got to be a little bit of a weird feeling for Allen. But as far as having Chris Gabehart up there, I think that's a huge boost for Ty Gibbs, someone who really knows what they're doing up there. And as far as Ty, we know he's a good road course racer. So I think if they can give him a good car, I think he'll be at least able to deliver a top 5, maybe even more this weekend. So give me Ty Gibbs at Chicago. But another thing we have to pick now is the in-season tournament. And you might be thinking, didn't you guys pick the in-season tournament last week? Yes, and then all the brackets got absolutely obliterated by a turn 3 just calamity corner pile up at Atlanta last weekend. So we're back with more in-season tournament predictions. And what are you holding?
That was everybody's bracket. That was everybody's bracket.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for the show and tell. Their Keegan.
It's a visual aid. Some people are visual learners.
That's true. But I think both of us are going to stick with our overall pick because we had Chase Elliott winning the entire thing last week, and then he went out and won a race. So I think we're both going to stick with that. But
yeah,
let's just go matchup by matchup here because it's not as much to digest as last week. So let's start with the first one.
You want to do quick thoughts, quick hitter style?
Yeah,
just
quick
bang,
hitter
bang,
style.
bang, bang, bang. All right.
Ty Dillon, Brad Keselowski. Who wins?
Brad Keselowski.
Yes, Brad Keselowski as well. RFK's good on road courses this year. How about Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace?
Alex Bowman. Wallace has not been on form. Alex Bowman.
Yeah. And even if he is on form, Bubba Wallace not usually very good at road courses. These two have had their moments together here in the past, but I do think Alex Bowman gets this one this week. And then the toughest one in the bracket, John Hunter Nemechek and Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott by a mile.
Yes.
Probably literally.
Just a tough draw for Nemechek, who's pretty good at these road courses too. Finished 6th at Mexico, but Chase Elliott for both of us. And then the hilarious matchup of the week is Eric Jones and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., both of whom are bottom 5 in average finish at road course in the next-gen era. So who do you think is less bad this weekend?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., solely because that 47 car has been in places it shouldn't have been on every track. Maybe not super speedways, but every other track. It's been higher than it should have been all season. Give me the 47.
I'm taking Eric Jones because he managed a top 15 in Mexico. So I think legacy's on the up. I think the equipment's just better. On the other side, Noah Gragson and Ryan Preece.
Ryan Preece. Gragson can only do donuts if he's going in circles or if he's turning right.
Yeah, Noah Gragson had a horror show of a weekend here last year, and Ryan Preece has been solid at road courses too, part of that RFK program. Give me the 60 as well. And then what would normally be a very exciting matchup, I think is a bit ruined by the venue here. It's Hocevar and Reddick, and I'm taking Reddick just because he's great at this place, and Carson Hocevar said it himself. He doesn't like turning right.
Yeah. The 45, I've seen Hocevar do road courses on iRacing. I'm taking the 45.
Very fair there. And then we're going to skip one and go down to the bottom here, and let's talk about Chris Buescher, Zane Smith. Who you got there?
Need I say more? The 1-7.
Yeah, give me the 17 as well. Zane Smith having a great year so far for front row, really being that team leader, but Chris Buescher just too good, especially on road courses. Now, matchup of the week here in the in-season tournament. It's your race pick in AJ Allmendinger and my dark horse in Ty Gibbs going up against each other at Chicago. And AJ Allmendinger, I think if it starts raining, I'm taking the 16 all day. But let's say this is a dry race. This suddenly becomes a very hard matchup to call because of how good Ty Gibbs has been at these road courses lately. I'm still going to take Allmendinger just because of the nature of it being a street course, but Ty Gibbs is good here. He has a top 5 finish at Chicago, is no slouch here whatsoever, but I am going to take Allmendinger.
Yeah, if it rains, you want to lean on Allmendinger. However, in the rain, chaos happens here. We see it time and time again, so I think it's whoever just has the cleanest race, really. I think if it stays dry, Allmendinger just qualifies a little better. It has the speed from the jump just to kind of clear himself from the chaos out back. Ty Gibbs, young rookie driver, may not qualify as well, may get stuck in the top.
He's done over 100 races at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but compared to like AJ Allmendinger, it's not necessarily the races, it's the road experience combined with a track that we really haven't been to. We've been to it twice now. So it's just those two things. It's like when you take SVG out of road course no one's ever been to because he just has that experience or has that skill set with him. I view AJ Allmendinger the same. If we're going to a road course that no one's been to, I'm taking SVG, then probably, Allmendinger over everyone else just because they have that prowess with them.
Yeah, but Ty Gibbs has finished top 5 here.
No, I think he's going to do. I think this is matchup of the week. I'm just saying, I think Allmendinger out-qualifies Gibbs enough to kind of stay out of the chaos. And Ty Gibbs may just be right behind him. Who knows? I'm just saying, if he makes like a little oopsie in the qualifying and gets stuck in the chaos, it could be a tough day for that little.
You know what? I changed my mind. Give me Ty Gibbs to move on.
Okay, I like it.
Ty Gibbs.
We have someone different.
Ty Gibbs moving on. We'll have Yeah, we'll split this. We'll split this.
So
Ty Gibbs to move on.
We disagreed. We disagreed on Gibbs and Stenhouse and Jones. I think that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think just because of the track partially as well, a lot of these just aren't super close. Like I think if we're headed to a Kansas and it's Hocevar and Reddick, wow. But instead you get a road course, that's a bit tough. And now let's give new little quadrant predictions here. As far as the Keselowski quadrant, I'm going to call it up there. I'm going to take Brad to move on out of this. I think Bowman's a good road course racer, but if RFK is bringing good road course stuff, I like Brad's chances at Sonoma. So give me the 6 car to move on out of that top quadrant.
Yeah, and I was about to say, with Sonoma being right after, if this weekend kind of goes chalk like you'd expect it to, next week becomes very fun with kind of road course dudes going head-to-head in every single quadrant.
Except one.
Right. Well, the one road course dude, but you just didn't have anybody else. But I'm going to go with, Keselowski, Bowman.
Keselowski?
I'm going Bowman. Sorry, I've been watching those. Yeah, I've been watching those.
Are you okay?
Those TikToks, like
the
one like
about, yeah.
POV. The viewers know POV. You're watching NASCAR, and it's just like an AI of like Larry Mack and Mike Joy, and they call him
exactly what you're
Keselowski.
talking about, but I didn't expect you to drop that on the episode.
So Keselowski's in my head. I watched one of those today, and Keselowski is in all of them for some reason. But Keselowski or Bowman, I'm going the 48. I think the 48's just been he's in pretty good form last few weeks. I mean, Mexico was great. Pocono was great. Finished third, almost very close to second at Atlanta. So I'm taking the 48. I just think he's put together a better string of races. And I trust the equipment he's going to bring week in and week out versus RFK, which I know they've had great road course stuff. But they've kind of just, especially with that 6 car, you'll see Priest and Buescher over here and the 6 car way over here. So they've kind of missed a little bit. So for that reason, I'm taking Bowman. And then the next quadrant, it's if we expect Elliott and then Jones, or I'll just say Jones or Stenhouse.
If Chase Elliott doesn't DNF and he doesn't advance out of this bracket, I will be shocked, considering the other 3 drivers in it and it being 2 road courses.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend much time on this one. We're both taking Elliott to come out of this. And then Gragson, Priest, Hocevar, Reddick. If it's Reddick and Priest, I'd probably give the nudge to Reddick on road course skill, but like we said, Priest, RFK car, maybe have some road course stuff up their sleeve. Who you got?
I'm taking Tyler Reddick just because these 2 tracks really suit him. He, I think, could have won Chicago last year if he didn't bounce off the wall barely that one corner on I believe it was the final lap in that corner. And then as good as Ryan Priest is on road courses lately, at Sonoma, Tyler Reddick has been elite there in the next-gen era. So give me Tyler Reddick to move on out of that quadrant, and you taking him as well there?
Yeah, I'm taking Reddick. I think Reddick way outdrives Priest at Chicago. However, I do think it's a little closer at Sonoma, but I still have Reddick.
And then our final quadrant here, it's Allmendinger, Gibbs, Smith, and Buescher, and I'm taking Ty Gibbs for this quadrant. I'm going to stay with the 54. I know Chris Buescher is absolutely elite at Sonoma, and he finishes top 3 there pretty much every time. I'm going to say a 54 team being absolutely desperate to make the playoffs. Now with Chris Gabehart helping out in the box and a good road course driver, I think he moves on out of this quadrant.
That's a tough one. He's the 3rd guy to move on for me in this quadrant. Second to only.
This is definitely our most competitive quadrant out of what's left.
Oh yeah, this was gonna be the fun one. I'm going Buescher. I think Allmendinger gets it. I don't think it matters who gets it for Allmendinger or Gibbs this weekend, honestly. I'm taking Buescher at Sonoma. I mean, he's been great there. He's been on point the last few weeks. He's been on point at that racetrack. I mean, he's been on point on road courses. I'm taking the 1-7. But Ty Gibbs, I'm glad you mentioned that dual kind of crew chief role. That could backfire very easily unless they have told Gabehart, like, hey, you're the final say. Because if no one's been given the guy to be the final say, there can be a lot of back and forth. But I'm fairly certain if you bring a guy in to do that role, he's going to have the final say. So with that being said, I do think it'll help. But if he doesn't have the final say, it could cause a little tension and maybe some I guess, distraction, I guess. But I think he'll have the final say, so I don't think that'll do anything but help Ty Gibbs at this moment. But yeah, I'm still taking the 1-7. So we pretty much agreed on Elliott Reddick, and then you have Gibbs, I have Busher, and you have Keselowski, and I have Bowman.
Yeah, so that's our new final four, we'll call it, for the bracket here. Still with Chase Elliott taking it all home. But let's get back to Chicago here a bit. And pretty cool storyline for this week. There will be a did not qualify car for the first time in 7 years in a Cup race that's not the Daytona 500. So there are 5 open entries this week, and there can be a max of 40 cars in the NASCAR field, 36 charters, 5 open cars. You do the math on that. One guy's going home, and your 4 drivers in it are Will Brown, who is a great driver from Australia, is very good at Bathurst. He almost won there in a Ferrari this past year. He'll be driving the 13 for Colleague. Austin Hill is going to be in the RCR number 33. Josh Bilicki is in the Mobile Chicane, that is the 66. Corey Heim is in the 67 for 2311. Not a rapper. And then Catherine Legg is in the Live Fast 78 car this weekend. So who do you think does not qualify for Chicago?
I mean, the 66.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I tried to set that up to be something. It's the 66. If the 66 manages to qualify, I'll be shocked.
I'm going to ask you a very interesting question that probably means nothing, but I just want to ask it because it popped into my head. If you put Max Verstappen in the 66, what happens this weekend?
He qualifies for the race and finishes 27th.
I think he qualifies for the race. I think he gets so mad that his equipment's not nowhere near as good and just gives up.
Just
not
runs
gives up,
over a
just
pit
like
crew
just starts
guy?
driving through people until NASCAR's like, all right, buddy, you got to come in. Like,
That's
we're
going
not
to be
the
a penalty
FIA.
point.
Yeah, and then you'd hear Verstappen on the radio. Oh, I sped read the rule book on the plane over here. I know every single rule. I had the apex, and NASCAR's going to be like, you think we follow the rule book? You should see what we did to Austin Dillon last year. Like, you think we care about our rules? Are you out of your mind? Get out of here, bro. Like, NASCAR does not care. But that would be fun.
No,
That'd be
they
interesting.
don't.
So,
But
Max
I'm really
Verstappen,
excited to watch Will
since
Brown.
you're watching, race.
Yeah. I'm really excited to watch Will Brown this weekend. I think that's, especially in Colleague equipment, we've seen what they can do in just these kind of pop start races with SVG at Watkins Glen last year, for instance. So Will Brown, potential sleeper, if he manages to get this car figured out, I think he could be really fun to watch this weekend. But I also think the 66 doesn't qualify. And then the sad part about this is, if this is really your last Chicago street race, you're taking away the only race on the calendar other than the Daytona 500 that's bringing this kind of excess of cars wanting to run the race. So this is your second biggest draw for teams to try to run it. And I get part of that is because of road course ringers, like having Will Brown show up and the fact that this happens to be one of the races Corey Heim is doing this year. But still, that's not great.
If they replace it with the San Diego street course, Los Angeles street course, or Philadelphia street course, I don't think it changes anything. It's just a street course.
Yeah, fair. I guess.
You think they're all secretly Cubs fans and they just really want to come to Chicago to watch the Cubs games? That's
what it is.
That's what I'm doing.
Cubs fan, Josh Bilicki.
Yeah. So unless they're all huge Cubs fans, I don't think changing the venue, as long as it's still a road course or street course, I don't think it matters. I think honestly, if they rotate cities, it becomes more of a draw because you go, ooh, they may be only in San Diego for 1 year. Let's go run San Diego. Let's go run Los Angeles. Let's go run like the Long Beach street course. I know there's been talks about that especially with Auto Club being demolished. So who knows? But I think it becomes more of a draw if they start rotating cities. And I think it's good for the sport. As much as I've loved the vibe and everything in Chicago, I'm not saying close that chapter forever. Rotate it. Go to San Diego, go to Long Beach, go back to Chicago, go to Philadelphia, go to the streets of Mobile, Alabama. I don't know, but like, just
Maybe
you can
not
rotate
that
it anywhere. Hey man, go where your fan base is. I mean, I know that's not the point of these races. The point of these races are to expand their fan base and do.
I was about to say that's not the point.
So, what if they like race around Charlotte?
That'd be funny. It's like NASCAR, new
like
street course. Where are you putting it? Charlotte.
Like switch the Roval to like downtown Charlotte.
Oh gosh, there's so many weird turn lanes and stuff. They'd all get lost. I have a great sense of direction, and I struggle in Charlotte without a GPS. So it can be a little weird sometimes. But anyway, I think that's it for our Chicago preview this weekend. hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you want to hear our reaction to the crazy Atlanta race from last weekend, that's out on the channel already. F1 episode will be out too this week, recapping Austria and previewing everyone's favorite race other than Brazil, Silverstone. So get ready for those 2 videos as well. But for now, that's been Keegan, I've been Micah, and we'll see y'all next week.